Celebrating 25 years of impacting life and changing the status quo. Hello and welcome to Joy News Interactive on your most credible news source, Joy News. We are live on digital channel, on your digital TV, DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144, and also on our social media handles at Joy News on TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Send us a message on 0540109009 and I will gladly read them to the rest of the world. Welcome to Joy News Interactive again. Now let's talk about the issue of Dumsor. It has been politicized over the years. Governments past and present have sought to create the impression that they have solved the crisis. But the power cuts keep recurring. Well, at the State of the Nation address, President Akufo-Addo also said his government had dealt with the issue. And later on that day, parts of Accra experienced darkness for long hours. And it's been predominantly lately. So we want to know what the situation is in your area. Let's read some of your comments on Facebook. And this is from Ibn Atik. He said, there's something is getting too much for the past 7 days. Every night at 20 hours, okay, my light goes off and comes back at 23 hours. ECG must get to the root cause and solve it once and for all. If it is political, something too, they better let us know. And this is from Denchemba Will Do. He says, yeah, my business has been affected this morning due to the power outage here in Obuatik ATS. More Life says, we've ended Doom Solar. 1 megawatt saved them, no ad. He. Think he's being sarcastic. And it's coming from Clifford. He says, as I'm typing, there's no light in my area, Westlands, Pillar 2, Parakou Estate. Wow. Elijah Livingstone says, as we speak now, here in Amasaman, Otaten, the power is off. And I can really sympathize with them. Otaten, okay. Amasaman, Otaten. And it's coming from Silva. It says, Dumsor is back and it is a real fact. The authorities must be sincere to us and give us the timetable. Ghana Beyond Corruption says Dumsor is back in disguise. There is denying the fact that Dumsor is back. And it's coming from August. He said it will visit us every day from 7 to 10 p.m. Now, I also want to hear from you. Let me know. Go to our Facebook page at Joy News on TV and comment and let us know. This is coming from Biggles Darling. Says very true. And this one is coming from Ibrahim. Says especially Nima 441. Now I can also open the phone lines right now on 0302-211-691 or 0302-211-692. Let me know. Do you have lights? Are you experiencing Dumsor in some sort of way? Do you think it's back? Call me and let's have a conversation on Joy News Interactive. And I have Jarrell from Tamale. Good morning, Jarrell. How are you? Hello? Hello, Jarrell? Okay, so unfortunately, I lost Jarrell. Let's read some of the comments. But before that, please call me on 0302-211-691 or 0302-211-692. Let me hear from you. Do you have lights? Are you also experiencing the disguised Dumsor? What's going on? What do you think about this particular issue? So I have Mosquito from Kasua on the line. Hello, Mosquito. Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We are also facing that problem. Sometimes they will off our light around 6 o'clock. They will off it around 6 o'clock and it will come back around 12 or 1 o'clock.
At dawn? Wow.
Sometimes.
Wow. So you feel Dumsor is back, right?
I'm calling from Kasua Winga.
Yeah.
If it happened to us.
How many times? How many times has it happened?
Oh, since last week, they have been doing it.
Wow. Wow.
They will off it around 7 o'clock, sometimes 6 o'clock, and it will come back around 11 or 12, 1 sometimes.
Okay.
They keep changing the time.
Okay. Do you believe that is back? That Dumsor is back?
I'm even home now watching your program.
Yes.
I'm even home right now watching the program.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Mosquito from Kaswa. You can call us on 0302-211-691 or 0302-211-692. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello, madam.
How are you doing? Good morning.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. You?
I'm doing fine by grace, my dear. Please tell me, do you think Doomsaw is back?
Yeah, I'm calling from Dunkwano.
Yes?
Yeah, I think that the Doomsaw is back because within... Hello?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, within every 3 days, they switch off the light, and it came back almost 10 o'clock p.m. Hello?
Wow. Yeah. Emmanuel, we can hear you. Speak.
Hi, morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, the Doomsaw is back because they always switch off the light from 6 o'clock p.m. and it came back maybe midnight or 1 o'clock a.m. Hello,
okay.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. I have Alaji on the line from Nandom. Hello, Alaji.
Yeah, I think the Doomsaw is back. In Nandom here, it's about 3 weeks today. We don't have lights.
Wow.
So the Doomsaw is back.
Wow, over 3 weeks now.
Yeah, in Nandom, please.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Alaji. Please call me on 0302-211-691 or 0302-211-692. Let me hear from you. What is the state of power or the electricity in your neighborhood? So, hello, Mohammed. Good morning. Mohammed from Tamale. Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Mohammed, tell me what's happening in your neighborhood with the issue with Doomsaw.
We have been having some low current, intermittent outage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I have a perspective.
Yes, please tell me.
Let us ask questions from some of the technocrats. President just spoke one day, and the following day, all this is happening. Could you not be somebody trying to sabotage the system? I think we should ask critical questions because it can't be that all these problems just happen after he spoke. I think we shouldn't give everything to the politicians. Let's do something about the way we treat each other. Is it that somebody wants to embarrass him?
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Because it wasn't like that.
Yes.
Actually, he spoke that day.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Mohammed. Okay, sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Mohammed. Now, Inusa from Northeast Region. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Inusa. How are you?
Good morning, madam. I'm fine, thank you.
Inusa, tell me what's happening. Are you experiencing the Doomsaw in your region as well?
Yes.
How long?
We are experiencing it. Sometimes they'll off the light around 7 o'clock in the morning, and it will come somewhere 6 o'clock in the evening. And then it's a big challenge. We are facing it. Sometimes you can't, do what you want to do with the light.
Definitely.
So for me, I think the Doomsaw is still there.
Thank you so much, Inusa. I have Abdul, I beg your pardon, Salah on the phone. Hello from Kumasi. Hello, Abdul.
Yes, please.
Good morning.
Speaking from Abaso.
Yes.
We've been having a power off from for the past 7 days now. It always starts from 5 p.m. and then the light comes on at 12 in the midnight. Yes, and it has been worrying us. So whenever me and my wife are going to work, we have to put off everything. Our fridges, we can't keep anything.
Yeah, to be on the safer side.
If they lose, they should just tell us and just give us the timeline so that we can know, we will know how to do things.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Abdul. Now, on the issue of that, let's read some more messages if we do have that. Okay, sure. So we have one more call on the line. Hello, Rahim. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, my sister.
Rahim, tell me, what's happening in your neighborhood?
In fact, my area, Kumbia, part of it, more than 2 years today, around 8:30 to 9, you have light out. We just have the lights right now, and then I tune into your station, and then you are discussing. Normally, when we call this, they say that the wiring is a problem. More than 2 years today, they are suffering. Part of it will be off, and then your neighbors will be having light, and you don't have light. We are closer to the station. Kumbia and then the VRS station, that place is not far. But that is thereabout. When you call them, they will never even mind you. They'll tell you that they've closed. So their night working period is supposed to start from 6 to 9. But if you call them, they will never come. They are suffering a lot. Like somebody said, I don't know whether it's sabotage or it's negligence. You don't know to, and then you are helpless. What kind of situation are we in?
I can imagine.
And still, we said that we have leaders, and people are suffering. And you cannot be a leader without having people following you. It's very bad. It's pathetic, my sister.
Thank you so much, Ridwan. Thank you so much. Enjoy your morning. Now, away from the doomsday, let's talk about #ArriveAlive. Now, it's the Joy News campaign to ensure we all adhere to stick to road regulations. The Driver Vehicle and Licensing Authority says it will soon take vehicles that fail the roadworthy test off our roads. The authority has also set up a task force to educate and ensure drivers comply with road safety laws. You have been reacting to this particular issue on our Facebook page, and I'm going to read some of the comments right about now. And this is coming from Dominic Kosi. He says, so it means that the cars go through that test, and when they fail, they are still allowed on the roads? Why test them? And this is coming from Na Evelyn. Says, no vehicle was unworthy until they used Ghana roads. Therefore, there are no worthy roads to be claiming which car is worthy to use them. I see their trick. They want to leave to the few good cars on the road and have them destroyed too. Shaking my head. It's coming from Joy. It says it's not going to happen. Since most of these DVLA guys are so corrupt, instead of they allowing the vehicles to go through the due process, they rather take bribes and issue the roadworthy stickers without the vehicles going through the proper due process. It's coming from Bat Dekpete. He says, your roads are not car worthy, yet you want to disturb us with roadworthy. Fix the roads. And those are comments coming on the DVLA taking on roadworthy cars off the road. Says this coming from Stella. He says the cars are unworthy. That's why some of them were brought to us here in Africa. Start to assemble new and worthy cars here. Kids die. Coming from Tete Emmanuel Serum said, I'm waiting for the day those Poklomaja lorries plying Circle Kaneshi or Doko route would be taking off. Some of the cars, dear, not. Good initiative. Let's all support it. It's coming from Richard. He said these greedy officials issue roadworthy certificates of vehicles that they haven't seen. They can't be trusted. It's coming from Emmanuel Boy. Said it's all hot air. They're still at it, getting people what they want in another way. This time within staff. Cry our beloved country. Ooh. It's coming from Isaac Nye. Says what about the bad roads? You only collect our money, keke. And this is coming from Kwashiga. He says please. They should start with the Circle to Odoko 1944 buses. Wow, 1944. And this is coming from Richard Messi. Says, let's start with the Osu to 37 Troskis. And he's running away from that particular statement. Alexander Kunedi said, it's a good idea, but they should make sure that every car should have one seat belt inside it. He has a good point with that one. And I do agree with the seat belt issue. And it's coming from Abanga John. He said, when it takes them 2 years to print a driving license. Is that true? Now let's take you live to Parliament now, where the House is debating the President's State of the Nation's address. Information Minister Kojo Ponkuma is on the floor now.
Has it been followed by growth in the necessary sectors? Is that growth translating into jobs? Is it translating into incomes? And is it translating into a higher quality of life for our people? And Mr. Speaker, here we have some very good answers to give. Sometimes when you talk of Ghana's increased growth in the last 3 years, you hear some of our colleagues on the other say, oh, but it's simply because of oil. Mr. Speaker, as a matter of fact, no oil discovery was made during the previous 4 years. But even if it is oil, then it will be Kufuor's oil, discovered somewhere around 2007, which today will be bearing fruit if that argument will be true. But it is not exactly oil, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to start off from agriculture. Agriculture was growing at 2.9% by the year 2016 when the former administration was leaving the corridors of power. So if in 2017 you notice that agriculture is growing at 6.1%, and in 2018 about 4.8%, it's projected to grow around 6.4% in 2019 and about 5.1% by 2020, is that oil? It cannot be oil. It is as a result of intentional policies and programs that have been rolled out in agriculture that are now delivering this growth on the macro stability, this growth coming with jobs, incomes, and a better quality of life for our people. And Mr. Speaker, I want to read from page 14 of the President's State of the Nation address where he speaks about agriculture. He says, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, I must provide some examples of what I mean by things not just occurring by happenstance, but by deliberate and meticulous planning and competent execution. We recruited some 2,700 agric extension agents to give practical expertise on the farms. We are not yet at the UN recommended ratio of 1 to 500, but we are working to get there. And it is definitely a vast improvement on the decimated department that we met on the assumption of office. With the support of Canada, 300 vehicles and 3,000 motorbikes have also been deployed around the country for ease of movement for those tasks to help farmers. Mr. Speaker, a paragraph earlier, Mr. President says, increased production and high yields of some foodstuffs like maize, rice, sorghum, groundnuts, soybean, cowpea, cassava, and plantain have led to a decrease in the wholesale prices in market centers. And furthermore, we are no longer importers of maize as we are reducing our dependence on rice imports and are now, in effect, net exporters of foodstuffs. Food prices are their lowest in decades. Mr. Speaker, all of this is because of the clear program of planting for food and jobs that this administration introduced. I would like to commend the Honourable Minister responsible for Agric, the Honourable Akufo-Addo, for the kind of work that is going on there. Mr. Speaker, beyond agriculture, having resolved Dumsor, the agenda for growth in industry and services has now got the best chances of success. Indeed, even if we had no clear program for industry, just by resolving Dumsor, we created a stimulant for industry to function better than it was doing prior to 2016. Manufacturers who had no electricity to run their plants in 2016 no longer needed to shut down production for half a week, because doing so will lead to low production. And if you didn't want the low production, then you had to choose high cost of fuel and generators, which will also lead you to high losses. If you didn't like that one as well, then you simply had to cut jobs. None of this was acceptable to the people of Ghana. And that was a sorry state of industry by 2016. So if indeed we did nothing at all, just by bringing back reliable energy supply and affordable ones at that too, we're helping to boost industry. But in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, we introduced the One District, One Factory program. The visionary Akufo-Addo targeted 275 factories at the start of this industrial development program. Our colleagues on the other side at that time in 2016 told us that that One District, One Factory program was not feasible. Mr. Speaker, by extension, what it means is that if they were in power by now, there will not be a One District, One Factory program. Indeed, there will be 0 factories under such a program of that sort. Today, as the President reports, we have 181 of those factories at various stages of construction. Over 50 of them are operational. Mr. Speaker, on any day, 181 is greater than 0. With the approval of the automobile industry policy, we have also sent a very strong signal to the sector that we have policies that will grow the sector. Not only has the Kantanka fleet now got room to embark on commercially viable production, but other brands, Toyota, VW, Renault, Hyundai, Suzuki, are now heading to Ghana. And the President provides detail on when we should expect them here. If I may quote from page 16, Mr. Speaker, it says VW is building its plant at the North Industrial Area in Accra and is due to start production by the end of April. Sinotruk has begun assembling its trucks. Toyota is scheduled to start the assembly of vehicles in Tema in the last quarter of this year. We have high hopes for this new industry, which has come to join our own Kantanka. So, Mr. Speaker, additionally, in industry generally, the automobile industry is expected to see an uptick. Not only those, bauxite is now establishing its footprint after the establishment of the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation. The iron and steel industry is also expecting to see a boom after this House graciously passed the GISDEC Act on the President's request. And while we continue with all of this, we are also working to reduce the burden that the energy sector imposes on our fiscal position through the Energy Sector Reorganization Program. Mr. Speaker, services have also been doing very well in the last 3 years. But for services, I want to narrow down on the financial services sector, because the financial services sector is tied to the apron strings of the real sector. One of the functions of the real sector, one of the functions of the financial services sector, rather, is credit provision, which is a major stimulant for economic growth. But it can also be the Achilles heel of the economy, Mr. Speaker. Ghana's financial sector challenges, as we are all aware, started prior to 2016. At its peak, the Bank of Ghana reports that deposits of about some 4 million Ghanaians, totaling at least about 16 billion cedis, had been consumed. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the 2020 budget, Table 3B, you get a true context of what 16 billion means. In the 2020 budget, the entirety of taxes on domestic goods and services, that is VAT, excise duty, NHIL, Get Fund, and CST, all of them come together to 19 billion. So if we're talking about 16 billion, you can see the comparatives pretty well. On the expenditure side, all the money going to the National Health Fund, Get Fund, Road Fund, petroleum-related funds, even the District Assembly's Common Fund, IGF retentions, and transfers to GMPC, all put together, is about 13 billion cedis. So if we're talking of 16 billion cedis, you can put it in proper context. Mr. Speaker, we're told that about 10,000 jobs at that time had virtually been lost. Reports of workers in these institutions who were being or who were working without pay abounded. Indeed, in those days, we all saw the footages on our phones and on television that if depositors went to some institutions for their money, they were met with police brutality. The risk of contagion effect was real. But the Akufo-Addo administration underwrote a Bank of Ghana proposal to resolve the financial services blues. Today, over 11 billion Ghana cedis has been paid. This week, some 5 billion Ghana cedis is commencing payment for institutions under the non-banking financial framework. Deposits of over 4 million Ghanaians, Mr. Speaker, have been saved. Can you imagine if 4 million Ghanaians had lost their deposits? Robust corporate governance mechanisms have also been put in place. And one of the exciting things is that over 7,000 jobs out of the 10,000 that have been virtually lost, over 7,000 jobs have been saved by this intervention, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this biggest bailout of at least 16 billion cedis could have done a lot of things for Ghana. It could have eliminated double track. It could have built hundreds of thousands of kilometers of roads. It could have been invested further into agri and industry and services. But because the administration is cognizant of the impact of human lives, that is why it is investing all of this amount of money to clean up the financial services sector. So we've saved over 4 million Ghanaians of their deposits, over 7,000 jobs. We've prevented a contagion effect, and we have built a more robust financial services sector. Mr. Speaker, let me take advantage of this opportunity to also call on the Bank of Ghana, the receiver, and the CBG to communicate clearly and proactively to all stakeholders to manage the expectations of depositors. They should be clear with their timelines and the instruments of payment and explain to the people what it means to pay with cash and bonds. They ought not to wait for expectations to go amiss before they explain. The Akufo-Addo administration has done a yeoman's job, and we implore them to let their management in the last mile reflect so. Mr. Speaker, another thing the President spoke about is peaceful coexistence. Sometimes we forget too soon as a country the kind of gains that we have made. But it's important to remind ourselves and to use it as a platform to build for the future. The Dagbon crisis is one such example. It was a conflict that over a decade tore brother and brother apart. It cost us tens of millions of Ghana cedis, and it ground all progress around the area to a halt. As part of the president's agenda to ensure peaceful coexistence, he stimulated the resolution of the ND crisis and the enskinment of a new Yana, Abukari Mahama. Dagbon has commenced the journey to glory, and we thank the president for his leadership. In similar vein, he has also appointed mediators to resolve some of the other disputes across the country. Nana Akufo-Addo believes in peaceful coexistence and will commit to investing in it. Again, in similar vein, he has spearheaded the passage of an anti-vigilantism act by this House to forestall the creeping culture of political violence in our body politic. And we must applaud him for it. On his watch, Mr. Speaker, the National Peace Council is spearheading an anti-vigilantism accord among political parties. Though our colleagues on the other side have refused to sign, this House should endeavor to call on all parties to do the honorable thing and to join the President in initiatives to ensure peaceful coexistence. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, those who are beating war drums that if the 2020 election witnesses any untoward action, it will be addressed to some quarters, should be advised to desist from it. The President is committed to a peaceful 2020 election. We believe nothing will transpire and encourage all parties to comply with the rules of engagement that are being laid down. Mr. Speaker, to secure our peace, his administration has also been investing heavily in the security agencies. Over 600 vehicles procured for the police service. Today, many districts nationwide have augmented their police fleet and are enabling patrols that are ensuring that citizens are safer. More men are being injected into the services, and on-the-job training is being upgraded. Mr. Speaker, the military has not been left out. They have also received a fair share of equipment necessary for their work. And today, Operation Conquer Fist, among others, is delivering safety and protection to the people of Ghana. Right Honorable Speaker, the President spoke to the nation about the fight against corruption. As we are all aware, corruption cannot be successfully fought if we are only going to resort to one strong man or one macho man, to paraphrase. It is fought by building strong institutions. We have seen the best of men lead revolutions aimed at ridding the society of corruption, only for their own administrations in the very end to be accused and to be caught up in corruption. So in building a strong anti-corruption institutional framework, the President has done a number of things. At least 4 pieces of legislation have been passed in the last 3 years to support the fight against corruption. This includes the Witness Protection Act 2018, Act 975, the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2018, Act 959, the Right to Information Act 2019, Act 989, and the Companies Act, the New Companies Act 2019, Act 992. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, President Akufo-Addo's government has increased budgetary allocations to accountability institutions at least between 25 and 34% since 2017. Parliament is a beneficiary. SHRAD is a beneficiary. The judiciary, IOCO, the OSP, the police, they are all beneficiaries. Again, he's ensuring that prosecutions are being done without political color. No wonder sometimes you hear the supporters of the governing party even accuse their own party of not taking on persons from the previous administration strongly enough, despite the fact that about 40 persons are currently before the courts for corruption-related offenses. Mr. Speaker, he's also charging the anti-corruption agencies with a free hand to investigate allegations of corruption, even against government officials. And may I add, Mr. Speaker, that these institutions should help us uncover, for example, who government official 1 is, and hold him and his compatriots accountable for the actions that they are alleged to have committed. It will all help the fight against corruption. Mr. Speaker, investment in entrepreneurial support has also been going on. Business resource centers are being built across the country. As the President mentioned, about 37 of them have been completed so far, and 30 more are being rolled out. Yes, entrepreneurs need working capital as well as startup capital, but without technical and managerial support, they cannot even manage that capital well. The Ministry of Business Development is also doing a yeoman's job in ensuring that capital and technical knowledge is availed to young entrepreneurs across this country. Mr. Speaker, so on the back of the macro gains, young entrepreneurs, when supported technically and financially, can also flourish, and that's exactly what the Akufo-Addo administration is doing. Mr. Speaker, I want to speak briefly about public goods and services, starting with education. Today, the major point of complaint about education is a double-track system. But government is committed to completing work on the over 800 infrastructure projects nationwide aimed at eliminating the double-track system. For example, in my own constituency, Akokwasu Senior High School has just benefited from the completion of a dormitory block. We expect more other schools to benefit from same for the eventual rollout or the rollback of the double-track system. But not only is double-track a phenomenon for us here in Ghana, countries like Kenya want to learn from it. The problem at first in education was that majority of parents complained that they could not afford senior high school education for their children. Today, the problem is that they can have it for free, but they would like to have it on a single track. Mr. Speaker, we believe that that is a beautiful problem to have. It's a problem that this administration is committed to fixing. What is exciting? That about 1.2 million Ghanaian children are benefiting from the President's free senior high school program, the largest and most impactful social intervention program. Sports development is on the rise. About 10 youth and sports centers are being built across the country. Several sports complexes and astroturfs are also being built in various parts of the country. This will lead to an improvement in sports talent and in health conditions indeed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, social protection programs are also being improved. The Akufo administration introduced a number of social protection programs, including school feeding, LEAP, and even free maternal care. We believe that if the economic conditions of the last 8 years had not dwindled, it would have been better to maintain and build upon these social intervention programs. Mr. Speaker, thank God the MPP is back in power. Social protection programs have now been resuscitated and are being expanded. On the watch of President Akufo-Addo, school feeding programs are being expanded. LEAP is being expanded. This is boosting basic school enrollment, it's boosting nutrition among school children. It's also creating jobs for a lot of young women across this country. In the area of health, Mr. Speaker, not only is health insurance being improved, but a lot of health infrastructure projects are now also being completed. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, pre-hospital emergency healthcare has received a boost with over 307 ambulances, the largest fleet ever in the history of our country. And the drone delivery network that we rolled out is also delivering tens of thousands of drugs across the length and breadth of this country. Right Honorable Speaker, the roads network is now being attended to. Paragraph 867 of the budget outlines many roads that are being worked on. Digitization is now a big deal, offering a lot more efficiency and productivity, and also reducing corruption for our citizens. Mr. Speaker, the President also finally acknowledged some challenges. For example, in the area of Galamsey, that while a lot of gains have been made, the new challenges will be fought head-on. He also speaks about the fact that challenges, among other things, in domestic resource mobilization needs to be tackled so that we can raise the necessary revenues to complete the unfinished agenda. Mr. Speaker, not only have we become a healthier nation across various sectors, but we now have a bold and compelling vision to live up to. A wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, empowered, resilient nation that is Ghana beyond aid. My prayer to colleagues in this House, that now that we are on this path, we support the President and encourage him to get us to that land of milk and honey. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to move this motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the motion so ably moved. Who seconds the motion?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the motion, and then in doing so, I'll make my own contribution. Mr. Speaker, contained in the State of the Nation address,
Just a moment. Honorable Minority Chief Whip, it's customary when this particular motion is moved on my right that there's a seconder on my left. What is the position as of now? Order.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Like you rightly said, it's not a rule, it's just a convention. Mr. Speaker, our principle is that we are not participating in this. So we will not be speaking to it. So that's why we are quiet.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as I indicated the other day, a member of the House is not required to be in the House to participate in the voting of any question that is put in the House. After we have debated the question we put on this motion, and any member who is not in the House, when the statement is being made, still technically is qualified to participate in the debate. Nothing prevents the minority from participating in the debate. Speaker, but the decision is totally theirs to participate or not to participate. So the Chief Whip has said that they are not going to participate. That decision is theirs and it must be respected. Except I heard him say that they have a principle not to participate. I don't know what the principle is. It's their decision. It's their decision not to participate. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to go into principles. But it's a decision. It's a decision, and the decision must be respected. As to the principle, I don't know what principle underpins this decision. Mr. Speaker, as I said, if they opt not to participate, we can go on. Yes. We can go on and debate. And perhaps we can speak what we are thinking for them. Mr. Speaker, so we can go on.
Thank you very much, Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable Doctor, Chairman of the Committee of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, once more, I rise to second the motion and make my own contribution. Mr. Speaker, contained in the message on the State of the Nation address is also a state of the economy. Mr. Speaker, in the fourth year of the MPP administration, I would attempt to compare the state of the economy in 2016 to the state of the economy today. Mr. Speaker, under President John Mahama in 2016, Ghana experienced declining economic growth. Mr. Speaker, in 2016, the real GDP growth was 3.4%. Mr. Speaker, this growth recorded in 2016 was the lowest in 23 years. The lowest in 23 years. And Mr. Speaker, since our colleagues are not debating, I will go into my lecture mood and take my time and teach. Mr. Speaker, economic growth measures the increase in the production of goods and services. Mr. Speaker, it captures economic activity. And so in their time in 2016, the economy grew at 3.4%. It captures the extent of expansion of the economy in 2016, 3.4%. Mr. Speaker, in 2017, the economy grew at 8.1%. So economic activity increased and the economy expanded at a rate of 8.1%. Mr. Speaker, again in 2018, the economy grew at 6.3%. 2019, 7%. Mr. Speaker, the growth in 2019 is one of the fastest in emerging economies in the world. Mr. Speaker, numbers don't lie. So whereas in 2016, under the first government official of the land, the economy grew at 3.4%. Presently, the economy is growing at 7%. It is even projected to grow at 6.8% in 2020. Mr. Speaker, 6.8% would have doubled the economic growth that we experienced in 2016 of 3.4%. So, Mr. Speaker, clearly, as the economy expands, jobs are created, and true to the President's words, we have a healthier economy. Mr. Speaker, again, under the first government official of the land in 2016,
under the first government official,
yes, there was persistently high rates of inflation. Mr. Speaker, in 2016, again, the annual rate of inflation was 15.4%. Mr. Speaker, again, students here, I take my time to explain what inflation is. Mr. Speaker, the inflation rate is the percentage increase in the general price level. So, if the inflation rate is 15.4%, it means that if you kept 100 Ghana cedis under your pillow, at year end, the value of the 100 Ghana cedis is now 84.5 Ghana cedis. In their time, 15.4%. Mr. Speaker, presently, the inflation rate is 7.9%. So if you kept 100 Ghana cedis under your pillow, you are prudent, you don't spend, and yet the erosion of the currency now is just 7.9% as compared to the 15.4% in their time, eroding the purchasing power of the cedi. So, Mr. Speaker, clearly, a lower rate of inflation would translate to improved cost of living. It translates into lower cost of borrowing. It is a healthy economy for everyone. So, Mr. Speaker, once again, numbers don't lie. Whereas it was 15.4 in their time in 2016 under the first government official of the land, now it is 7.9%. Mr. Speaker, continuing, the fiscal deficit, and again, I take my time and I explain. Mr. Speaker, the fiscal balance is the difference between revenue and expenditure. So if your revenue exceeds your expenditure, then you have a budget surplus. If the revenue is less than your expenditure, then you have a budget deficit. Mr. Speaker, in my lifetime, Ghana has never had a budget surplus. So it's been a deficit upon deficit. So the lower the deficit, the better. Mr. Speaker, in 2016, under their watch, the deficit 6.5%. Mr. Speaker, consistently the deficit has been declining, 4.8% in 2017, 3.9% in 2018, 4.8% 2019, projected to be 4.7% here again. Mr. Speaker, the government of Nana Akufo-Addo itself brought legislation to this House to legislate the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which says that the deficit cannot exceed 5% in any year. Mr. Speaker, this is the government itself tying a noose around its neck that if I exceed 5% deficit, censure the Minister of Finance. I advised him at committee that minister, don't do this. He said, I want to be a prudent finance minister. I'm going ahead with the law. That's the law that we have now. And Mr. Speaker, the fiscal deficit is declining. This has been firmed in law. So in this election year, just as under the NPP's watch in 2004, when the deficit was 2.2%, we are going to have a deficit under 5%. No reckless spending. No reckless spending. Mr. Speaker, to coordinate and monitor discipline, the government has also set up the Fiscal Responsibility Advisory Council. So not only is the minister living within his means, this advisory council is continuously monitoring what the ministry is doing. Mr. Speaker, another beautiful feature of the law is that the government is supposed to maintain a positive primary balance. And Mr. Speaker, again, I would explain what the primary balance is. Mr. Speaker, The primary balance recalls tax revenue. The primary balance recalls tax revenue minus.
Instead of you to keep quiet, you are
minus expenditure.
Keep quiet and listen.
Having excluded interest payments. Mr. Speaker, I take it again. The primary balance measures your revenue minus expenditure when you take out debt servicing or interest payments. So if you have a negative primary balance, it means that you are borrowing to service your debt. In 2016, they had a negative primary balance of negative 1.1, meaning they borrowed to service the debt. Under the MPP's watch, economic management team headed by Vice President Mahmoud Makbaumia, the primary balance has stayed in the positive. 2017, 0.5%. 2018, 1.4%. 2019, 0.9%. So, Mr. Speaker, I have news for them. Now, the MPP is not borrowing to pay interest because we are maintaining a positive primary balance. Mr. Speaker, the low inflation, positive primary balance, and the rest I'm talking about should translate into something. They have translated into lower interest rates. Mr. Speaker, in 2015, under the first government official of the land, interest rates were around 23%. Mr. Speaker, presently, short-term interest rates, 91-day T-bill, 14.7. And at their watch, people had incentive to place their funds with savings and loans and microfinance because they were guaranteed a high return. Mr. Speaker, presently, you will not get a return of more than 20% anywhere in the land because interest rates have declined. Mr. Speaker, as a matter of fact, lending rates in 2016, lending rates hovered around 32%. And we have evidence. The road fund borrowed at 31.9% in 2016. So those were the lending rates. As we speak, lending rates are around 23%. The Speaker, the central bank has reduced the monetary policy rate from 25.5 to 16% presently. So, Mr. Speaker, these are numbers that don't lie. These are numbers that don't lie. Mr. Speaker, I turn my attention to the exchange rate depreciation. Ghana has consistently experienced depreciating currency, a weakening currency. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, year to date, the Ghanaian cedi is the best performing currency in the world. I didn't say the best performing in Africa. I said it's the best performing currency in the world. Mr. Speaker, the cedi is appreciating against the US dollar as we speak. Mr. Speaker, nobody wants to hold the greenback again. If you hold on to dollars, you lose value. And under the LPP, nobody wants to hold on to dollars. That is what is happening right now in the economy. Mr. Speaker, the cedi is exchanging against the dollar at less than 5.4 Ghana cedis presently. Mr. Speaker, I recall the Honorable Samsiahi in the past saying the cedi was appreciating the dollar. That is what is happening now, Mr. Speaker. That is what is happening now. The cedi is appreciating the dollar. Mr. Speaker, we have also built up buffers. This appreciated currency will stay. We have built up buffers. Mr. Speaker, they left 2016 with gross international reserves of $3.4 billion. As we speak, we have reserves in excess of $5 billion. Mr. Speaker, there's a buffer. We have a cushion. This currency will grow stronger and stronger. Mr. Speaker, when you do all these magnificent things in your country, there are external observers, and they rate you. Under President Akufo, Ghana achieved a credit rating of B+ in 2008. Then the first government official took over. The first government official of the land. Mr. Speaker, our credit rating that President Akufo left at B+ declined to B-. Mr. Speaker, end 2016, the credit rating of B+ had declined to B-. Mr. Speaker, the better managers of the economy took over. Now guess what? Moody's rates Ghana B3 with a positive outlook. Standard & Poor's, that had rated us B+, for which we went back to B-, have now upgraded us to B with a stable outlook. Mr. Speaker, Fitch has also rated us B with a stable outlook. So this is not as saying, this is Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch. This is not me, Mr. Speaker, this is not me. So, Mr. Now I know why they ran away from the debate. Now I know. Because you can't dispute anything I'm saying here. Now I know why. I know why they ran away from the debate. Mr. Speaker, the Eurobond that we issued recently, the coupon rate was 6.375%. Mr. Speaker, I take it again. The coupon rate on the Eurobond we issued recently was 6.375. In 2016, they went to the market. They got 9.75. So Ghana, the sovereign, was borrowing under their watch at 9.75. Now, if Ghana borrows money, we borrow at 6.375. This is about 3.4 percentage decrease in the interest rate. Mr. Speaker, we have to be careful for this country not to slide back into the hands of these people. We have to be careful. Because if a country is going to borrow at 9.375 and within a matter of 3 years, another group of persons bring it as low as 6.375, you should not take it for granted. Yes. You should not take it for granted. Yes. The Speaker, so clearly, the state of the economy is stronger. It is better. It is growing. It is moving forward, Mr. Speaker. If we go along this trajectory, Mr. Speaker, the city is going to exchange to the dollar under less than 5 cents. Watch. It is going to. Mr. Speaker, if we continue along this trajectory, we are going to hit the B+ rating again. So, Mr. Speaker, I will end this one here. I think I've given a fair enough lecture before I've understood this one. I thank you for the opportunity.
Honourable members, the motion has been moved and seconded. Is for constitution of the House. But honourable members, in the interim, let me make a little variation and take item listed 5 and have the first reading of the Customs Amendment Bill 2020. Honourable Minister for Finance.
Speaker, the Finance Minister is unavailable, and the Deputy Minister of Finance is holding a fort for him, and accordingly, she will do what is needful. The Speaker, it's important to know that the bill is with us in the House. It was first laid on the 19th of December 2019. What is to be done now by the Deputy Minister is to withdraw the old one that was laid, and a new one will be substituted by it being laid afresh. So that will be the task of the Deputy Minister. Speaker, if you may, grant her leave to do this.
Honourable Deputy Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to withdraw the first bill that was laid on the 19th of December and then replace it with a new. With your permission, Mr. Speaker.
Permission is granted, and you may present.
An act to amend the Customs Act 2015 at 891 to provide incentives for the automotive manufacturers and assemblers registered under the Ghana Automotive Manufacturing Development Program, provide import exemptions for the security agencies and officers of the security agencies, and for related matters.
The bill is duly presented and it is read for the first time and referred to the Joint Committee of Finance and Trade and Industry for due consideration and report. Honorable members, we go on full blast to the motion ably moved by the Honorable Minister for Information. Honorable Ifa. Honorable Ifa. Andrew.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also rise to thank the President for the message on the state of the nation. In so doing, I would like to make reference to pages 7 and 8 of his message, which emphasizes the effort that government has put in trying to resuscitate the dying banking sector. Mr. Speaker, at the time of the interventions, it's on record that several of those banks that are affected were seriously undercapitalized, that risk management was poor, corporate governance was very weak, many of those banks were insolvent, banks faced liquidity challenges, there were various suspicious transactions identified, there was excessive risk-taking, and Mr. Speaker, there was also, it's also on record that there was some creative accounting practices. This led to a total collapse, Mr. Speaker, and a threat to the banking sector. Mr. Speaker, with the involvement of the government, present government, there have been some positive impact on the industry, and I would like to make reference, Mr. Speaker, to the Bank of Ghana Banking Sector Report, November 2019, which I hold in my hand, and make references to some